It's not the same. Kody Brown's emotional confession about his children. For over a decade, the Brown family has been the center of one of reality TV's most watched and talked about shows, Sister Wives. As viewers, we've been invited into the unique world of Kody Brown's plural marriage, 4 wives, 18 children, and a life that defies traditional family norms. Throughout the series, the Browns have showcased love, struggles, celebrations, and heartbreak, all under the constant gaze of cameras and fans. But recently, Kody Brown made a confession that left fans stunned, and the family's dynamic exposed like never before. It's not the same. Those words, simple yet deeply emotional, were spoken in reference to his relationships with his children. This admission revealed a raw and complicated truth about love, favoritism, and the messy reality of parenting a large family. It was a moment that peeled back the layers, exposing vulnerability, but also the fractures beneath the surface. A confession years in the making. When Kody said, "It's not the same," he was addressing the emotional distance between himself and some of his children. For viewers who have followed the family's journey, the statement wasn't entirely surprising, but it was jarring to hear it spoken so plainly. Fans have long speculated about the uneven dynamics within the Brown family. The closeness between Kody and Robyn's children has always been apparent. The time, affection, and emotional support he gives Robyn's 3 kids from her previous marriage, as well as their own children, contrasts sharply with his more distant relationships with children from his other wives. Moreover, the pandemic exacerbated existing tensions, particularly between Kody and some of his older sons. Strict COVID protocols imposed by Kody caused rifts, notably with Garrison and Gabriel, whose refusal to comply resulted in near-total estrangement. The phrase, "It's not the same," sums up the painful truth that not all parental relationships are equal, a reality rarely acknowledged so openly, especially on reality television. The complexity of love in a large family. Parenting 18 children spread across 4 households is a monumental task by any measure. Yet Kody's confession opens a door to the nuanced challenges of distributing love, attention, and time in such an environment. Love isn't a finite resource, but the way it manifests can be shaped by circumstances, personalities, and mutual connections. Some bonds form naturally stronger, others require effort or are marred by conflict. Kody's admission highlights the inevitable differences that arise when managing multiple relationships. Yet it also raises questions about fairness and responsibility. Does a father have the right to love some children more or differently? And what does this mean for those who feel they're receiving less? Preferential parenting or honest vulnerability? Kody's admission can be interpreted in 2 ways, either as a heartbreaking honesty about the realities of parenting or as an excuse for preferential treatment. Fans are divided. Some sympathize with Kody's struggle, understanding that relationships are reciprocal and that children who distance themselves may naturally receive less warmth in return. They argue that Kody's emotional bandwidth and presence inevitably vary, and that this is a human, not malicious forgiving reality. They point to the visible favoritism toward Robyn's family and the painful alienation experienced by older children, who often seem cast aside. For them, Kody's words confirm a pattern of neglect disguised as honesty. One thing is clear: love, especially parental love, is expected to be unconditional. When it becomes conditional or uneven, it creates wounds that are slow to heal. The children's voices. While Kody's confession is significant, the voices of his children tell the story in more detail. Garrison's strained relationship with Kody is well documented. His feelings of rejection and abandonment are palpable, especially as he publicly distanced himself. Gabriel, too, has spoken about the difficulty of reconciling his father's absence in key moments. Peyton, often one of the Brown family's most visible young adults, has expressed frustration and hurt over perceived neglect. These children are grappling not only with typical parent-child challenges, but with the added pressure of being part of a large, complicated family under public scrutiny. The emotional toll is visible. Feelings of invisibility, rejection, and confusion have shadowed many of Kody's children, a reminder that even in the most unconventional families, the need for equal love and acceptance remains paramount. The wives' role and responses. The Brown wives have different relationships with their children and with Kody, adding layers to the family's emotional complexity. Robyn, as Kody's fourth wife and mother to several children living under their roof, often appears the closest to Kody. She has been a steady partner in the family's public narrative and has defended Kody's parenting decisions. Christine, Janelle, and Mary, however, have at times shown frustration and hurt over Kody's absence and uneven affection toward their children. Christine's departure from the marriage highlighted deeper issues of emotional neglect and prioritization. Though the wives rarely comment openly on Kody's confessions, their experiences and decisions speak volumes about the impact of this uneven love on family dynamics. Cultural reflections. Parenting in the public eye. Kody's admission is also a cultural moment, a window into how parenting and love are portrayed and understood in the context of reality television. On TV, family life is often idealized, sanitized, or dramatized for entertainment. But Kody's confession strips away the glamour, revealing a father grappling with imperfection and relational complexity. This moment invites viewers to reflect on their own families. Is it normal for love to vary? Can we accept vulnerability in parental relationships without judgment? And how do we reconcile honesty with the need to protect and nurture children's emotional well-being? Healing and moving forward. Kody's statement, "It's not the same," is both a confession and an invitation to acknowledge painful truths so healing can begin. For the Browns, healing means more than words. It requires active rebuilding of trust, reaching out without conditions, and opening spaces for forgiveness and understanding. For viewers, it's a reminder that no family is perfect, and even those who seem to have it all can struggle with love, connection, and the delicate balance of relationships. Final thoughts. The unequal but real nature of love. Love is often described as unconditional and equal, ideals we aspire to in parenting. But Kody Brown's confession reveals a more complicated reality. Love can be uneven, shaped by circumstances, and expressed in different ways. "It's not the same" is a phrase heavy with meaning. It tells of fractured relationships, of distance both physical and emotional, and of the struggle to reconcile imperfections within a family. Yet beneath that sadness is hope. Hope that by naming the truth, Kody and his family can find ways to heal old wounds and redefine their bonds. For fans and families alike, this moment from Sister Wives serves as a reminder. Love is complicated, imperfect, but always worth Kody's heart. Unequal love among the Brown kids. For over a decade, the Brown family has stood as reality TV's most unconventional portrait of family life. With 4 wives, 18 children, and a commitment to a plural lifestyle, Kody Brown's world has fascinated and divided audiences. Sister Wives wasn't just a show about marriage. It was a social experiment about family, faith, and fatherhood. But as the seasons rolled on and the family's foundation began to crack, one unsettling question started to surface. Does Kody Brown love all his children equally? The answer, according to Kody himself, may be a painful one. He doesn't. This truth, spoken aloud in a recent interview, has stunned fans, shocked his children, and sparked intense public discussion about what it means to be a parent when love isn't equally shared. A father of 18, or just a father to a few. Kody Brown has always prided himself on being a dedicated father. From the early seasons of Sister Wives, he presented himself as a man who cared deeply for each of his children, regardless of which wife they belonged to. The show documented family trips, birthdays, school milestones, and warm father-child moments, all reinforcing the idea of Kody as a loving, attentive parent. But time has exposed the limitations of that image. As the family grew more divided, emotionally, geographically, and spiritually, Kody's ability to maintain strong bonds with all of his children clearly waned. And now he's acknowledging what some of his children have likely known for years. I don't have the same relationship with all of my kids. I love them all, but it's not the same, he admitted in a recent tell-all. It's a startling declaration from a man whose spiritual duty was to equally shepherd a massive, blended family. And for the children who have felt pushed aside, it's a confirmation of a painful suspicion. Robyn's house, the favored domain. Much of the controversy around Kody's unequal love centers on his relationship with Robyn, his fourth, and as of now, only remaining wife. Fans have long noted the way Kody seems to prioritize Robyn and her children. Whether it's spending holidays exclusively with her family, following her parenting lead, or even legally adopting her kids from a previous marriage, Kody's devotion to Robyn's household has been overt. In contrast, his presence in the homes of his other wives, and in the lives of their children, has diminished over time. Viewers watched as he missed Isabel's spine surgery, clashed with Janelle's sons over pandemic rules, and grew emotionally distant from older children who didn't always agree with him. Robyn has defended Kody repeatedly, insisting he wants to be close with all his kids, but is held back by conflict and disrespect. But critics, including some of the children themselves, believe the favoritism is clear and undeniable. The emotional fallout for the Brown kids. While Kody's confession may have been an attempt at vulnerability, for many of his children, it's likely felt like abandonment dressed as honesty. Garrison, who tragically passed in 2024, had a well-documented falling out with his father. The distance between them began during COVID-19, when Kody demanded obedience to strict rules. Garrison pushed back, and their relationship never recovered. Gabriel, his brother, suffered a similar fate. He once revealed that Kody forgot his birthday, a moment that crushed him and symbolized the growing emotional void. Other children, like Gwendolyn and Peyton, have spoken publicly about their strained relationships with their father. From accusations of favoritism to feelings of emotional neglect, the picture they paint is not one of a loving, balanced father, but of a man who picks and chooses which children to invest in. Kody's words have confirmed what many already felt. Love, at least in Kody's family, wasn't always unconditional. Can a parent love uniquely and still be a good parent? This question lies at the heart of the debate. Some fans and psychologists argue that it's natural for parents to feel closer to certain children. Personalities mesh differently, conflicts arise, and some relationships grow stronger while others drift apart. Emotional closeness isn't always equal, even if love is intended to be. But when a parent acts on those differences, withdrawing, favoring, or becoming emotionally absent, that's where harm takes root. Preferential parenting creates deep psychological wounds, especially in children who are aware that they're not the favorites. In large families like the Browns, where comparison is inevitable, the impact is amplified. The message, intentional or not, becomes clear. Some children are easier to love, and others are left in the shadows. Janelle, Christine, and Mary, the mothers who watched it happen. While the children experience the brunt of Kody's uneven love, the three wives who've since left him, Janelle, Christine, and Mary, have also felt the ripple effects. Christine's exit from the marriage was rooted in years of emotional neglect, not just toward her, but toward their children. She expressed frustration that Kody wouldn't invest in her kids the same way he did with Robyn's. After leaving, she quickly began reclaiming her identity as a mother and grandmother, one who shows up, listens, and leads with love. Janelle, fiercely protective of her boys, chose her children over her marriage when it became clear that Kody's conditional love was hurting them. Her loyalty to her sons, even in the face of public conflict, revealed a mother unwilling to tolerate uneven treatment. Mary, who had the longest marriage to Kody, was often the emotional outsider, for herself and for her child Leon. Watching Kody dissolve into the safety of Robyn's household while her own family drifted was a pain she carried quietly for years. A family redefined. Kody's confession doesn't just reshape how fans view him, it reshapes the very foundation of the Brown family legacy. Once celebrated or criticized as a symbol of plural parenting and religious unity, the Brown family is now a reflection of fractured love, broken bonds, and a father struggling with emotional honesty. And yet, there may still be hope. Kody's willingness to admit his flaws, no matter how painful, opens the door for accountability and healing. While some relationships may be too damaged to repair, others might be mended through time, effort, and humility. But it won't be easy. Because once a child knows they were loved less, it takes a lifetime to believe they're worthy of being loved more. Final thoughts. What the heart can and can't hold. The truth about Kody's heart is that it's complicated. Parenting isn't a formula, and love isn't always symmetrical. But in a family built on the promise of fairness and faith, admitting to emotional inequality isn't just revealing, it's revolutionary. For the Brown children, those words may forever alter their perception of their father. For the viewers, it's a harsh but necessary lesson. Love, especially in families, must be actively chosen and evenly shared. Because when love becomes selective, it stops being love at all. It becomes judgment, favoritism, and in some cases, estrangement. Kody Brown has finally told the truth about his heart. Now the real question is, what will he do with it?